We do have one more guest that we'll be speaking with. Jim Moss of Plasticity will be joining us after the break. We are live here at Bingemans at the Communitech Tech Leadership Conference in Bingemans. We'll be back right after this on 570 News. Well, and just like that, it is 1:48. We're 12 minutes away from ending off the show. It's just flowing by. We've been hearing so many great stories, and we've been talking to so many great people. We, of course, are live at the Communitech Leadership Conference at Bingemans. On Twitter, the official hashtag Rethink14, the theme, Rethink, Reinvent, and Reconnect. And joining me right now is Jim Moss, CEO of Plasticity. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great. Having a great day.
We were just talking off the air, and you were talking about being here and how many people are here and potential clients and all this. And so that's part of it, right? Like, this is why you're here.
Yeah, that's exciting because you get so many leaders, right? It's a tech leadership conference, and it's decision makers. So you're learning a ton, but you're also getting access to people that you might not get an easy meeting with. And they're getting exposed to see what you do and kind of deciding on the fly, we would love to do that.
It would almost be criminal not to be here if you're a high-tech company.
Yeah, if you can get here, you should.
Yeah. Jim, tell me a little bit about Plasticity, because, again, we this is one of those companies that we hear about, but maybe not everybody knows what exactly you do.
Yeah, sure. So we started as the Smile Epidemic, where we were using psychology, so the science of gratitude, to help individuals to be happier. And what happened was we heard from so many people that they wanted something like that at work. We want to be happier at work.
Sure.
Made a ton of sense. Also makes a much easier business. So we built Plasticity, and what we do is we learn on almost a daily basis what's making people happy in the workplace and how that leads to performance of the company. So when this group is happier than that group, when we changed the furniture, how long did people feel like they were, in that period of change? And how is it impacting the way people do their jobs?
And how is it impacting the way people do? Because, I guess the concept of a happy employee is a good employee has been around for a while.
Yeah. So I think instinctively we know it's true, right? Like if I asked you, would you rather work with the happiest customer service person or the grouchiest?
Or the grumpiest, happiest.
Right? You assume things are going to go better working with happy people. But for so many years, we've always just run on that assumption. So what we do is we collect the data. So instead of it being what we think, it's what we actually know.
Right.
So, and really interesting stuff. Like, we learned the people who are going to speak most positively about your company, you don't have to ask them directly. If they're very grateful about what they have at work and the people that they work with, they happen to be the same people who speak really positively about the company.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting, because just the other day we were talking on the show with someone from Ipsos Reid who did a poll about that, and where they said that if someone is happy with your product, you don't have to tell them to spread they will just automatically go and spread the word. We become advocates almost.
Yeah, evangelists.
Yeah.
And so you can learn what it is that makes people, employees and customers, evangelize your product. And they will typically tell 10 people.
Wow. So word of mouth.
Real evangelists. Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. So how did Plasticity get started? How come you're here in Waterloo?
So I was. We lived in San Jose, California. My wife and I.
That's why you're a Sharks fan.
That's
you were
right.
Just
I'm a Sharks fan. Yeah, it hasn't paid off for a couple of years, but they're in the playoffs.
That's right.
Year. Yeah. And I got very sick, and so I lost the ability to walk, and it was relearning how to walk in the hospital. Realizing how much my mood impacted my ability to, get the most out of therapy that day.
Yeah.
My mood really impacted my ability to heal. And in fact, I started to hyper manage my mood. And I just became bulletproof. I was going to be happy every day, even though I was relearning how to walk. And it helped quite a bit. So we racked up about a $750,000 medical bill.
In San Jose.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had really good insurance, so we didn't have to pay all of that, but we became very grateful for OHIP. And for grandparents.
So
and all those things were in Ontario, so we moved back.
And what year was that? So how long have you been here now?
We moved back in 2010. I went back to Laurier part-time because I couldn't go back to work yet. And it was at Laurier doing a psychology degree. I was actually starting to apply for master's and PhD, and stumbled upon a lot of research that had already been done about this. And so we built a business.
And you're a product of the Laurier Launchpad, and also the Communitech Hyperdrive program, correct?
Yep, and the Accelerator Center.
And the Accelerator Center, who we spoke with earlier on in the show. So how have these things helped you out?
Oh, it's incredible. So, if you look at how far we've come, and it's hard work. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. We got to hustle still, and you lose a lot of sleep. But if I think of trying to do what we've done in 2 years, just ourselves out of our basement or in our garage, so many resources you just wouldn't know where to find. You wouldn't know where to look. The ability to walk down the hall and ask somebody a question, and they're either going to have the best answer or know exactly who does and point you there, and they're also down a different hall. That access to support and resources, I think when they say acceleration, I think it would take us 3 years to do what we've done in the last year.
It's amazing, and we've been hearing from so many different people, as I mentioned throughout the show, who are from the States and who have come here. And one of the questions for me is, in the States, there's San Francisco, there's New York, there's Philadelphia. There are all these great cities that a lot of people, kind of want to be in, right? There's that I want to be in New York, right? I want to have a company in New York.
Yeah.
Yet they come here and they say that they feel like they're a part of something that's not as clashing,
It's not as competitive.
Right.
It feels more collaborative. So you're cheering each other on. Even though there's only so much funding to go around, and you're all kind of competing for the money that's there to fund your business, you're still cheering for each other. So I got to play Team Canada for lacrosse and hockey.
Yeah.
And you end up getting a pretty tight-knit group of guys. It's like 40 guys, and 25 of them at any time get picked for the team.
Yeah.
And you're always trying to get the most out of each other, even though you might be competing for the same spot. I feel like it's like that. You're really trying to make each other your best.
Yeah.
Where it could be competitive, but instead we work together and make it collaborative.
Listen, that's really cool to hear because, for me, this is all a learning experience, right? So everybody I get to talk to is really cool. It opens up my mind about everything. Listen, when we talk about being situated in Waterloo region, we talk about the support. You talked about the support, how you're all kind of cheering each other on.
Yep.
What about when it comes, how big is Plasticity? Let me ask you that.
So we have 6 full-time employees.
Okay.
We have 6 programmers overseas. And we have a team of 7 PhDs at Laurier.
And so when it comes to hiring people that are valuable to your company and keeping them, how has that been for you being here?
Well, we've had a little bit of turnover with some employees, but you're always going to have that. We just hired our first sales guy. He's been with us for 3 weeks. He actually came from the Laurier Launchpad. Yeah. He's a Laurier student. There's a ton of good engineers in development. I think that there will be, you'll get to a point where you need to grow and start to recruit from Toronto. But I think that everything that we need for the foreseeable, the next 18 months is probably right here, and we have every intention of staying.
Yeah, and so that's how you look at your business in chunks like that of 18 months?
Yeah, 6 to 18 months.
Yeah.
That's kind of our short, medium, long term.
Yeah,
right? Because that's as much funding as you ever have is maybe 18 months of window.
Yeah.
So, after that, you're kind of looking into the crystal ball a little bit more than the plan. You can plan reasonably for 6, 12, 18 months at our stage.
You mentioned the Accelerator Center, and I kind of want to go back to that just because I'm kind of curious how they help you guys out.
Yeah, so Laurier brought us into the Accelerator Center, and basically you get furnished office, all of the, the photocopier, the coffee's there, there's a kitchen, the bathrooms get cleaned.
All this stuff that would cost you money otherwise.
Right, and that you really take for granted.
Yeah. The hidden costs have you.
Yeah, that's right. And this incredible but small group of mentors. So like a really great sales mentor, a really great culture and HR mentor, great PR and marketing mentor. So the access to that, so it's, we call it incubation and acceleration. Yeah. Incubation is like a safe place to live while you grow. Acceleration is like some fuel on the fire to help you grow. And so the Accelerator Center is a bit of both.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and because almost every company and person I've talked to has mentioned the Accelerator Center, so it's been amazing. That and Velocity is the other thing at Waterloo, University of Waterloo.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And basically taking people who might not have access to entrepreneurship training and education and giving them that to bolster whatever it is that they're already really great at.
Listen, Jim, we're right out of time, so thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, that is Jim Moss, CEO of Plasticity. And thank you so much for choosing 570 News and for listening to the 570 News Midday Show. We are live at the Communitech Tech Leadership Conference at Bingemans. Once again, on Twitter, the hashtag Rethink14. Thank you so much. We'll do it again tomorrow, 10 to 2 p.m. Stick around. All news after news. News. Yes. Is it Joe Pavia and Laura Carney today? I think it is. All news afternoons. Joe Pavia. Yes, it is. Paul talking on here. Yes, it is. Stick around. Joe and Laura will get